as your number two now that you've lost a tall in the back line? And
well, we don't have number ones. So we work with as a team, and my comment has been already that we've lost a player out of our back line, but we've actually replaced that player. So we're still really solid and we're really strong. We feel like we've got the 22 are going to be needed, and not just one individual. So we'll be okay.
What about if Melbourne does decide to load up and go tall in attack, maybe 3 talls? Who do you see coming in there? I mean, you got Trengo, you got maybe O'Shea, maybe.
As I said, we've got a number of players. I'm not going to sit there and tell you exactly who's going to go down there and play. So we've got a number of talls that we think we've got enough cover there that we can cover what Melbourne can put down there. Yeah.
The other one, at the MCG. I don't know if you've sort of looked much into the history of the club, but the club doesn't get to play there all that often, and you can get cooked there, just by the atmosphere and the size of it and everything else. Talked much about it? No,
not really. I mean. For us, going to the MCG is where we want to be able to go and play football, and it's another opportunity. Yes, we don't get many of those opportunities, so we try to make the most of the experiences we get, and this is one of them that we look forward to taking on.
Ken, you got 4 debutants tomorrow, counting yourself. How are your nerves?
Yeah, mine are okay. I mean, having been around football for a long time and been involved with coaching, yes, it's my first game officially as an AFL coach. But yeah, I'm not at all worried about my own performance. I think I'm more worried to make sure that the team's up and about and that the boys are feeling comfortable. And as I said, we've got some debutants playing, and we've got some. In total, we've got 6 playing their first game for the club. So that's exciting. I find it more exciting than being more nervous.
Is there any comparison whatsoever to your first game playing and first game as a senior coach?
I can't remember that far back, unfortunately, so I really don't know. I remember my first game ever so slightly. It was at Fitzroy, so it was a long time ago. And I think like any first game, there's some nerves in that for a player, but for me as a coach, I think it's quite a bit different.
And the first game players, have you spent some extra special time with them this week, sort of explaining what they're going to go through and that sort of thing, or do you just let it take its course, maybe leave that to teammates?
Yeah, no, I've left them alone pretty much. I just like to make sure that they're, they knew they deserved their chance, and that's the important part, that they didn't just get picked. They actually deserved their chance in the team. So all they've got to do is go out and play like they have for the last 3 or 4 weeks. I know that's a little bit different because it is their first AFL game officially, but if they go and perform the way they have in the NAB Cup, they'll be okay.
What is the mood amongst the players? Confidence high?
Yeah, look, the boys are excited. That's typical of any club in round 1 in the AFL. You all want to, you look forward to the whole pre-season's all about getting to round 1, and now it comes, you do get excited by it, and that's exactly the way the boys are. You can see they're buzzing around this morning, and they're keen to get out there and train. But I think they're more importantly, they're keen to get out there and play on Sunday afternoon.
What worries you about Melbourne?
Oh, look. Melbourne are like us in lots of ways. We're both trying to re-establish ourselves as clubs, and when you've got a club that's in that mood, it can be dangerous, and any side can be dangerous in this competition. We know that. We can't afford to worry too much about what Melbourne are going to do or not going to do. We've got to really worry about what we're focused on the pre-season and make sure we execute that well.
A fair bit of modern AFL footy is putting work into the opposition. Is it difficult to scout a team in round 1 given the different lead-up? I mean, if you catch them in round 12, you've got 11 regular games that you can see how they're going individually and as a team.
No doubt there's some consistency that you don't get in the NAB Cup, and every side plays around with what players they have out there. We know that getting closer to round 1 AFL, that the NAB Cup gets a bit more stronger, and we look at the sides from there. But we'll take a look at them, obviously, and we have taken a good look at them, what they've been able to do in their pre-season. But as I said before, more importantly for us, it's about what we're going to have to do well.
It's obviously a pretty big step up from Renmark Oval to the MCG, but do you take much out of that game that you guys played?
No, not a lot, because both sides were significantly different on that day, and it was early on in our NAB Cup preparation. So you're doing some different things there. You know that there's some little glimpses you see of Melbourne, and they would have got little glimpses of us that they expect us to be like. So I'm sure you'll take a little bit, but not too much.
No doors still for the Demons, but I mean from that Renmark game, James Seller right from the outset looked like he was pretty powerful pretty early on. Is that concerning at all with perhaps Mitch Clark down there, as sort of what Jess was saying before?
Yeah, look, obviously if they have the ability to kick 5 goals in a game, that's going to make you be a little bit wary of them, and you don't want them to be able to do that. Obviously, any of their players, we don't want to do that, because as soon as you're focusing on 1 or 2, you'll end up finding there's another player that'll pop up, and you then find yourself guessing which one you need for that. So I think we need to maintain our flexibility. As I said before, our back 6 will be nice and strong, and they'll be solid, and they'll do the job on whoever's down there. I'm really confident about that.
Been a fair bit of talk about the sliding rule during the last couple of weeks. Have you spent any time sort of working on it?
Oh no, we're aware of it.
Sure of it, yeah.
Yeah, everyone's aware of it, and it's difficult. It goes against instinct a little bit, but I think it's as a whole, the rule will be okay. The players will adjust to it. You know, I don't know we've seen anything too much even in the weekend Thursday night's game where there's too much of that. So quickly after 2 games the week before, you start to see players adjust to it. You see coaches adjust to it, and we have had the pre-season. Yep. And it's not like we've been surprised by. We know it's been coming, and we just have to make sure that our players, as I've said before, our best method is for our players to stay on their feet anyhow, and that's the way we'd like them to be.
Yes, yeah.
Ken, I was watching Fox Footy the other night. David King said he'd be in your box. Is that accurate? Is that what he's going to be in tomorrow? Or?
Yeah. We're opening up ourselves for Fox a little bit. We want to grow the club, and we know that part of that is to let some people see what we do and understand what we actually do. And we are really competent and confident about what we do as an AFL club, that we're prepared to let people have a look at that.
Is that something that you've driven? I mean, a lot of coaches might resist that through their career, but here you are in game one, opening the door, sort of thing.
Yeah, no, not so much that I've certainly driven, but it's something I've been comfortable with all the way. And we need to make sure that Port Adelaide becomes relevant again, and that means we have to put ourselves up for show a little bit more, as Koshy said all the way through, and that's something we're prepared to do as a club.